that was getting on Minu's nerves. Leaving the whiskey unfinished, he strode towards Bella. Shall we leave? So soon? Minu could only nod dumbly. It's too late for a movie now. Forget it. Enjoy yourself. Shut up. He wanted to roar. Let's go. But the words were stuck in his throat. No, not to the cinema. I am not in the mood. He managed finally. Let's go home. I see. Bella nodded significantly and joined him. They rode back in silence. On their way back, both want to talk to each other, but they wait, they hold up. His anger inflated like a balloon. Bella was silent. She didn't say a word to Minu, not even to ask him why he was silent. Minu was seething. She dances with others without even asking me. She doesn't even bother to come to me when I am choking to death. And now, when I am silent in anger, she cares who hoots about it. The balloon had grown very taut. They entered the house, marched into their bedroom. Minu loosened the knot of his tie and plumped into the chair without removing his jacket. Bella removed her hairband and had her fingers on the zipper of her gown. Minu could hear it no longer. Minu could bear it no longer. Here I am so upset, and yet she can go about her business as if nothing has happened. The balloon had to explode. Bella, Minu had meant to sound stern, but what came out sounded more like a squawk. Bella spun around and strode up to him. Minu, he was contemplating his next words when her strident call assaulted his ears. I never dreamt that you could stoop so low, right in front of your wife's eyes. God knows what you would do behind my back. Just as we entered the hall, you get hurt and smothered by all those darts. Couldn't you have chased them away? Then Phulabai brings you a drink and you gulp it down happily and force me to drink as well. She was sizzling with rage. Agnello told me that what a Casanova you were. But let me make it very clear, I will not tolerate it. You are a married man now. Your roving days are over. And if you happen to choke, you had better call me out. Call out to me. Ask any stray Cathy to stroke your back in future. I'll break your back and limbs too. Bella's balloon exploded while the air in Minu's fizzled away. She slumped into the bed, deflated. Minu, did I bore you last night? She whispered in his ears the next morning as he opened his eyes. Minu pondered the question for some time before replying, no, sweetheart. This is the lifestyle that I have seen from very close quarters, and that is what makes me write about these things.
Before I would like to move to the next important set of writers, I would like to make a brief reference to Udalik Naik's short story Bird. He has a wide cross-section of subjects and environments that come into his short story. Right from political kowtowing of youngsters or people who have to even sell what they devote or they are devoted to. Like for instance, his very well-known story, Turtle, where a turtle is venerated and never killed, and a workman is carrying it home, and when some people ask for a buy, he says a stern no. And when he comes home, he finds that on that day, after having performed the puja of the turtle very piously, in the cover of the dark, he is forced to carry that same turtle bag together, a handful of rupees, so that his wife and children can have a square meal that night. So you can see there is a wide variety. Unemployment comes into them, exploitation of young people for political gains comes, children who go out of hand, young adolescents who have peak of adventures here and there, all these, and that wide cross section of humanity rings very true. The next generation of writers is actually Prakash generation. But in between these two, a gentleman who belongs to Bhai's generation in terms of age, but who came onto the Konkani scene a little late is Mahableshwar. Mahableshwar is by far one of the most celebrated writers in Konkani today, not only of short fiction but also of long fiction. And I think his Tarna was the work that he was honored with by Sahitya Akademi Award. He brought two important things to the Konkani short and long fiction. One of them was the cultural and the physical world of the Karwar region, neighboring Goa. Although the two regions are very close, they are adjacent to one another, and at one time they must have been just a part that is an extension of the other. But with the British and the Portuguese rule respectively on both sides of the Kali River, Karwar appears to the Goan psyche in the pre-independence and even immediately after post-liberation as a kind of the other world. But he brought this other world very close to us, and he tried to show how people everywhere ultimately have the same problems, they have the same kinds of predicaments, and their responses to their respective experiences are nearly the same, if not identical. He came from agrarian background, but he was, I should say today, lucky to be also enlisted in the Indian Army. He joined the army not because he loved the army, but it was an inevitable part of the way of life he was brought up in. And against his mother's wishes, he says he joined. But he brought to Konkani fiction the touch of army life. One of his very well-known short stories is called Colonel Saab. I don't know if it is available in English translation, but it is one of the most gripping of short stories. And he has taken taboo subjects also. And he tries to bring up a short story by using a very simple narrative. Generally, he does not experiment with technique, but the end result is such that the simplicity itself becomes very captivating, and the end, although sometimes it may even appear predictable, is extremely gripping, and that is a forte of his short stories. Varyekar himself is here, Prakash Parekar. In the last 10 years, Prakash short story has grown very rapidly. I think in the present generation, if you have to name 2 or 3 short story writers of eminence, one would be Prakash Parekar, and only there will be maybe Ramnath Gowde, or even Madhusudan Joshi. These are 2-3 short story writers. There are many others, but it is not possible to place them on the same echelons as these. These writers go to select themes that are not only very convincing, but they build up environments within their stories that ring true. And most of the time, the experience is something that the writer has very often been through, either directly or by proxy. And because of that, the story does not appear to be a kind of build-up of ideas and words. I would request